What is up, everybody? Waiting for one last spinning wheel. Here we go. How's it going? It's Tuesday. It's 10-ish p.m. Eastern. So here I am. And I didn't run the risk of forgetting this week. So this is actually progress. My name is Andrew Hitz from The Entrepreneurial Musician. And this is the TEM coaching chat for February 9th. First of all, boy, how tired do I look right now? I actually don't look as tired as I feel. But yeah, I'm looking at myself on video. It's like I need a haircut, I need to shave, and I need a nap. We made it to 250 episodes, which is really, really exciting. I'm super proud of that fact. Been doing this for a long time now. And yeah, I'm very excited that I made it to 250 episodes. Thank you to everybody who has listened to the show, who has subscribed, who has subscribed to YouTube, who has shared the podcast with a friend, who has left a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, my Patreon patrons, literally helping to keep the lights on. It takes a ton of work and more money than you might think to produce and to host and to do all of that stuff. Parker Mouthpieces for being a sponsor for so long. And also a huge thank you to Will Houchin, who at various times over the years has produced the show audio wise, has produced video episodes, has done all the graphics. Any graphics that he hasn't done, he set up a template for me to be able to do it. TEM either would not still be going or would look incredibly different if it was not for Will. So thank you very much, sir. And episode 250 was awesome. I got to sit down with Eric Branner of Fonz, and he's a special human. If you don't know him, his story, check it out. If you do know him and his story, you should check it out. It's really good. He had so many sound bites. I could pull like 15 clips, no joke, from this thing and could riff on any of them. There was one thing that he said in particular, which I really resonated with me, which was he said that this was speaking about one specific point in his career. You can listen to the episode to get all the context. But he said that he made up for a lack of knowledge and experience with enthusiasm. And that really spoke to me because knowledge is acquirable, experience is acquirable, and enthusiasm is acquirable as well. But enthusiasm is a much harder thing to teach. If I am privately teaching somebody on this thing, or if I am working with someone as with TEM coaching, although I tend to generally, if you're paying a business coach, then you're pretty enthusiastic. So that doesn't apply as much there. But we have all, if you've taught anything, you have dealt with students who are enthusiastic, and you have with students who are really enthusiastic, with students that are kind of enthusiastic, with students that aren't enthusiastic at all, or who are enthusiastic for the wrong things, like the wrong reasons, like for grades and for accolades and things like that. If you can get someone who is genuinely enthusiastic about not even success, but about like giving it a go, about trying, about learning, about like being in the deep end of the pool. Eric talked in TEM 250. He spoke about being surrounded by people at Fonz, which is his incredible company. He talked about being surrounded by people who knew tons of stuff about things that he knew nothing about, and they were like essential things to launching this company, and about how exciting that was. And people like Eric, who in this specific scenario was in way over his head. This is the CEO. He's a co-founder and CEO, and he was in over his head. But any good CEO is going to be in over their head, and that goes for any solo business person as well. Today, I'm kind of drawing a parallel to like running a company that does as much revenue as Fonz does, and they're not analogous, and yet they're completely analogous. I was trying to use Logic Pro to swap the sound out on a video that I played a quick tuba clip on. I just took a QuickTime movie, and I used a mic that I have that's over here off screen, and I tried to swap out and I did this successfully like last week for the first time. Today I tried, and it wasn't it didn't work. Like the mic had just like a very very like slight hum in the background, which I wasn't able to identify, and I was having trouble with it maxing out, even though it wasn't showing that it was bad. And so I'm in over my head because Logic Pro is like this really powerful tool that I've used for super basic things. I master every TEM episode, but it's this crazy powerful tool. It should be complicated, right? Like, what do you mean bounce? I want to export a damn file. What is bounce? And somebody explained it to me. I don't really care, but you understand what I'm saying, right? Until you know that it's bounce, that was not. I was looking through those menus. And I'm like, what export is not working? What you don't know until you know, and you need to find people who are willing to just kind of roll up their sleeves and to figure it out. And I'm not saying that when I was, I spent like, it was actually a break in putting together TEM 250 today. I needed to get a little bit of tuba time in. And so I did, and I did a quick, like, 2 minute improv video that I was going to post. And I didn't leave like smiling going, I'm so glad that I was able to experience that learning experience. That's good. Did I mention I needed a nap? But I did on some level. I was like, well, good. Now I'm closer, and I still don't quite know what I did wrong, but now I'm closer to understanding how to use that program and how to use more of the features, etc. And so finding people who are enthusiastic about learning, about business, about success, about whatever it is that you're doing, those are the people to partner with. I am telling you. There is a book, I've mentioned it many times on the show, called Good to Great by Jim Collins. And there's a bunch of that book that really has nothing to do with like a tuba player who used to own 20% of a globally touring brass quintet and who now like does business coaching, etc. It's about like big corporations, and a lot of the stuff is not analogous, but the parts that are really 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 good. And one the analogy that I have used over and over again is you got to get the right people on the bus. Just because your string quartet needs a new violist does not mean that you simply find the best viola operator. And that sounds negative. I don't mean that. I mean like somebody who can like sound like Shostakovich when they're playing Shostakovich, sound like early Beethoven when they're playing Beethoven, somebody who can sound like late Haydn. But you don't just find that person unless that's the only role that they're going to do, unless they're just going to show up. You need to find somebody who has some skill sets that you need to find somebody who's actually down for not necessarily a specific skill set, because that's not getting the right person on the bus, but finding somebody who is looking to go on this journey with you. Just because there's a violist who's like will probably be a good fit like personality wise, but they happen to be a graphic designer and you need a graphic designer, I'm telling you, do not hire that person when there's somebody who knows nothing about graphic design who is going to be a killer fit artistically and personality wise. You can pay your way out of a graphic designer. Now, would it be incredibly nice to have a graphic artist as one of the people in your quartet? Absolutely. That would be invaluable nowadays with how visual everything is, but the tie should not go to the person with that skill that is easily outsourced. And so you want to just like, if you had to, and you don't, this is like a false dichotomy, but if you had to only look at one trait, it's enthusiasm. And that's exactly what Eric has, and you can hear it. And I mentioned this on the at the the outro of TEM 250. Like, we kept talking for 20 minutes after the interview. We both had to go. It was like 11 something PM for me. I had to go to bed, and it was 8 something PM for him out in Seattle, and he had to help like get kids to bed and all that. And we kept talking because it was like we could, every time I talk to him I can feel that enthusiasm. So get the right people on the bus. It's going to make up for a lack of knowledge, for a lack of experience, for a lack of specific skills. And that is the number one trait that I would recommend that you look for when partnering with someone for a project. Certainly for joining a band or getting like equity in a company or anything like that, is enthusiasm. That's the number one thing. Lastly, before I get out of here, go get a little bit of sleep. Shout out to everyone who joined me on Sunday night for the first installment of the TEM book club. We talked about James Clear's Atomic Habits, and boy, it was really really great. I learned something. This sounds like a good thing to say. It's true. I learned something from each person who was on that call. We kept it small, and the perspectives and how they had applied. There are so many actionable lessons in Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I heard each person spoke about a way that they have applied one of the lessons in that book to their career recently. And every single one of them was like, oh, it was either exactly what they said was a way that I could apply it to me, or it directly inspired me to say, oh, wait, if I approach my situation or my, this angle of my situation in the same way, then I bet I'm going to get the same kind of results. It opened up my mind in a lot of ways, which was wonderful. So keep an eye out for, I should by next week announce the next one. I'm not going to do them a lot, but you can't announce a book club like 2 weeks beforehand, or nobody's going to have time to read the book, and then no one shows up for your book club. So, I'm going to do, I don't know, 2, 3, 5, 6 a year, or something like that. But that would mean I need to announce another one pretty soon, because I'm always reading books. I love reading books, and I'm almost always reading a business book of some kind. And so I think this will be good, and I'll get some suggestions from people as well. So thank you to everyone who helped me get to 250 episodes. I hope that I am talking into this mic, or maybe a nicer mic. This one's fine, but we can maybe go fancy if we hit 500. Yeah, quarter of the way to 1,000. How about that? And it's now over 400. It's like 434 combined episodes between the Brass Junkies and TEM. So that will actually be pretty soon, right? Like 70. Oh boy, I've set up a math problem here where one is every other week and one is every week. So there is 1.5 episodes a week, and I need to get to 70. So 70 divided by 1.5. Hey Google, what's 70 divided by 1.5? 47 weeks. So this will be a little less than a year. So we'll be crossing the 500 episode threshold. So what you're feeling right now is excited. Anyway, thank you so much for supporting TEM and for tuning in tonight. Or if you are watching this on the YouTube channel sometime in the future, thank you for subscribing. And that is going to do it for this TEM coaching chat.